All right, howdy, folks. Welcome to our podcast today. This week's episode is it's a long movie, but hopefully not a long podcast going over it because, we got to keep your ears enticed, titillate those minds. And yes, this week's episode is 1998's Saving Private Ryan, starring Tom Hanks.
Oh, dude, was that for Tom Hanks?
Oh yeah, I if you wanted to fill in, I blanked because I was thinking Matt Damon.
Tom Hanks, Tom Sizemore, Edward Burns, Jeremy Sumpter, Vin Diesel, Matt Damon.
I know, I forgot. I didn't realize Vin Diesel was in this,
Adam
and then I was
Goldberg.
like, I looked at it because I think it was the Amazon is how I watched it through. The Amazon was I had the X-ray stuff. Anyways,
Barry Pepper.
I was like, oh yeah, a great cast. Great movie in my opinion, but we'll get into that in a second. Anything else? Oh, did you talk about the giveaway again?
Yeah.
For this week.
So we're doing a giveaway. It's gonna be a gift card to a theater of your choice, a local theater in the United States.
$1,000.
Not
no. Oh, $100.
$50.
Half of $100. $50. There we go.
To a theater of your choice. All you need to have is a valid email address and be following us on Instagram. And we're only going to do this giveaway after we reach 10 reviews on Apple Podcasts. So go there and rate us. That's all you got to do. You can leave a comment if you want. I'd love a comment, but if you don't want to, just click some stars.
Just clickety clack on that keyboard. Some stars. Actually, it's the mouse probably. Huh?
Yeah,
click, and then click, and then go cool submit or something. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a pretty awesome giveaway. Am I so. Excluded from the giveaway?
Yeah,
I'm just curious. Oh, okay, just checking.
Yeah. if it comes up that it's us, one of us, then we go again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me explain my method behind how I choose the winner. I go to our Instagram page at the time that I'm doing the drawing, and then I find that number, and then I put between 1 and that number into a random number generator, and then whatever number pops out, I count to that number, and that's who gets to get a movie gift card.
Nice. The methodology behind the madness. I love it.
I'm not just willy-nilly picking them out of a hat.
However, we could do that. If we had like 100, we'll write down every name.
If we start doing live videos and stuff, we'll do like a lottery.
That'd be cool. It's like a little Tumblr thing.
Yeah.
And then, one, yay. Okay.
So,
stay tuned for that and leave us a review, please. Thank you. Okay.
I'm going to say for the thermometer that Saving Private Ryan has got to be high 90s. I remember, so this came out around the same time Titanic did, and I was more of a Titanic fan than a Saving Private Ryan fan. So when Titanic won Best Picture over Saving Private Ryan, I was ecstatic. And then a couple months later, I saw Saving Private Ryan, and I was like, oh, this movie got robbed. Both are good movies, but the amount of, that's hard because, again, we were talking about effort in the last episode, and I feel like both Titanic and Saving Private Ryan, pretty good amounts of effort put into both of those. So, I mean, tough choice for the Academy. Tough choice for little 12-year-old Jake. Also, only, 9-year-old Jake, because I was not 12 in 1998. So I'm going to say... Are you sure? I'm going to say, 96. For
96 for both. Okay.
It's gonna be lower
sir,
than that.
You're pretty close though. The audience score is a 95%. So really close. I think within a point is awesome. It's a 93% from the critics, so almost the same. but a couple points off. So,
I'm
really
very
good.
curious.
That's
what
a solid
critics
A,
wouldn't
right?
like.
You want me to go through some of the reviews? I'll do that, and while we're kind of talking through it, if you want. I also need to fact check you on something because I was like, "Is Titanic?" I remember I knew that one.
Fact check me.
But it was a 1997 movie, so it was the 1998 Oscar. It won for that year, but this movie came out in July of 1998. Saving Private Ryan did. So I'm trying to see real quick what the best movie 1999 I guess would be. Is that would that be right? I think.
No, I mean just.
You know how I got snubbed? It says Best Picture for the 71st Academy Awards in 1999. Because they hold them like the beginning of the year,
right?
For the previous year, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Shakespeare in Love. That came out in 1998. That won over Saving Private Ryan. Just so you know, that is a pretty decent. That's a pretty good movie, but I don't know if I would say best picture.
I would definitely not pick Saving Private Ryan over
Shakespeare in Love, or vice versa.
No, I would not do that.
Or you wouldn't? You would pick Shakespeare in Love?
No, I'd pick the one that we talked about.
Titanic? But that's so the previous.
Saving Private Ryan.
I think you just got switched around, and I was following it. But okay. So I make sure.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's all good out there.
I'm just looking this up. Wow, that's crazy.
Here you go. Top critic against. So this gave it rotten.
Yeah.
For Saving Private Ryan, I don't know if I should name the person, but you could find this. This is not the full review. It's the first. They give you the first sentence or something. The result, I am sorry to say, is that Saving Private Ryan seems almost banal in its achievement. A film that sacrifices humanity for technical wizardry. Like there's some sorcery going on here. What? That seems brutal.
Okay, well, my response to that would be the technical aspect of the movie. Of the filmmaking, which I'm assuming he's talking about all of the giant battle sequences, and that was meant to more enhance the story and to put you in the position of these men. I wouldn't necessarily call it technical wizardry.
Like, okay.
I mean, I guess it is, but at the same time, it's not like an over-the-top effects movie. It's not a Michael Bay. Like, we're going to have fast dollies and fast cars kind of movie. It's a giant drama that has really well done battle sequences.
I'm just checking out. This other person said, war may be a faceless affair, but war movies shouldn't be. Is that like because that one guy got his face smashed in by something?
I don't know.
Is it alluding to? I'm like, so then I want to read the whole thing, but it's like 6 paragraphs, and I don't have time for that now.
I think they mean that war should be vague, but war movies should have heroes in them. I don't know.
I like that it felt more real because it was scary. It reminds you how bad war can be with all that. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I don't even want to say I don't really have a hard opinion on this, but maybe wars were necessary before, and nowadays I don't really see the point in them.
Yeah.
Anymore. Maybe that's just my soft American kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean a country shouldn't fight for itself,
Right.
But yeah. I don't want to get too much in the weeds politically. So moving on.
Yeah.
Do you have any major thoughts about this?
That opening scene, and I'm not talking about the old man walking through the cemetery, which I always forget about.
Yep. I was gonna say I could do without that maybe.
That opening scene still sticks with me from the first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like modern war movies, war movies in general, I think probably one of the most well done battle sequences ever shot. Mm-hmm. There's kind of a story that develops through it, with them just trying to like get past all of it.
Yeah.
And we also see the kind of assembly of these regular men being thrust into this extraordinary situation, and most of them seem a little seasoned at it, like they've been around for a little bit. And I think a lot of that could just be the time period, because things were a lot different back then. You had to go hunt for food. You couldn't just get everything at the grocery store. You could get some things, but I think the better part of soldiers that were enlisting and going off to Europe to fight were, hunters and that kind of stuff. So, they're no stranger to that kind of stuff, but they're strangers to war in general. Yeah, there's a lot of little story elements that come out later on, but the opening is just really phenomenal. It really, I don't know, it just sticks with you after you see it.
Yeah, it really does. So I'd seen this in parts, not all the way through for a while, and so I knew the story generally, and probably some jokes that were made before about it. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, maybe I watched the whole thing. I happened to catch it like right at the very beginning of that scene, so I don't even know if I saw him walk up. Well, I might have actually, because I remember that at the end, at the time too, was I think it was like 11 at night too. It came on, and when I still watched like HBO on TV, and I was so enthralled by it, I stayed up and watched the whole thing. Like I couldn't get enough. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, that scene is what sticks out to me. Yeah. Too. I mean, leaves an impression.
This is, it's based on a real event that happened. So I will, I don't mean to disparage anybody that had relatives or, war is brutal. We know that. But we're also looking at it from an entertainment aspect. And that is a very strong hook for an opening of a movie.
Yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't really feel like, that wasn't the goal of that sequence. It wasn't, I don't think Spielberg was sitting there like, oh, we're going to get him with this. They're not going to believe what they're seeing, kind of thing.
Yeah, like the shock factor.
Yeah, but it was definitely like, it's hard to not want to find out what happens next, because a lot of movies is putting your characters through hell, and if you start a movie by literally putting them through hell, where do you go from there? Like, it can only get worse.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
To just and then we get to the story of it, which is the main story, which is again very simple. There's a guy that's lost 3 brothers. We got that nice shot across the beach that goes into his brother's backpack or whatever that has the name.
I think it was 4 brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's 4 brothers, but so he's the 5th?
I think he's the 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's got 4 brothers that died, and they've got to go get him because the army has a policy, I guess. I don't know if it's policy.
That's the one thing that is a little like, that's where I mean it gets very patriotic, where it's like, we got to bring this one guy home even if we sacrifice other men, which they approach that subject in it, so that's fine. And then his character, Matt Damon's character doesn't want to, we already did that, Matt Dillon, in the war movie thing, he's like, I don't want to leave. These are my brothers now, especially knowing now that his actual brothers are dead. He's like, these are now my brothers too, so I'm not going to leave them, which is also, so there's a lot of like, gonna die for my country, and he's now got to come back. Because I get the premise in that it would suck if all 5 of your sons died. That would not be it. And then they pull in that like quote from Lincoln, I think. Yeah. To kind of solidify like the reason why we should. I think that is the actual like quote unquote policy you're mentioning essentially is that they're like, we should do this mission then, and it seems like a noble cause. I guess that's what I'm getting at, and then there's patriotic and noble reasons to go against it once they actually find Private Ryan.
Right.
So.
And I mean, they, you know, the way they tackle that too is kind of a, you know, why do we have to go do this? And ours is not the reason why, ours is but to do or die. Yeah. Like, your soldiers taking orders. Yeah. And
this is our order, this is what I'm going to do, which Tom Hanks also kind of like mentions of like, well, this is what I'm told to do, but he's like, I'm not going to make you go if you're not going to, you know.
Yeah, if they tell me I got to go do this and that gets me closer to going home and seeing my wife, then this is what I'm going to do. Yeah.
And hopefully at that point it then feels like there's a lot of luck. Like you could be skillful in shooting and tactful and strategize here and there and maybe have a better chance of surviving. But if you're walking along and just happen to get like carpet bombed essentially in war, it's like, okay.
I don't know. This is probably going to come out the wrong way, but
just let it out. Let it all out.
So I love the casting of Tom Hanks in this role. I think a lot of movies leading up to this, we talked about it with Platoon kind of starting to change the narrative a little bit, where like John Wayne's not storming in with a machine gun like, come on boys, follow me. You know, these wars are fought by average people a lot of the time. These big wars, like there's Navy SEALs and other departments and stuff, but the basic goal is to throw as many people at this as we can and hopefully win. So I love the fact that Tom Hanks is, you know, the captain of this little platoon, because he is kind of an everyman. Like, he's not big, bulked, in shape guy. He plays a history teacher in the movie.
He's sharp. He's sharp though. That's, I think, what makes him, and because he's, as a teacher, have a kind of like a leader role, right? Yeah. So he can be a leader. And so all that works out.
So I think, and I know there are certain instances where there are heroes in war, but I think the message might more have been that there are no heroes in war. Like, it's not necessarily something that we should be glorifying to the masses that, you know, I don't know, that could be inaccurate, but just kind of, that was the feeling I got from seeing Tom Hanks, who was Forrest Gump 4 years before this movie came out. Yeah. To then be a captain. And
I could see that. You could almost say kind of the same thing, but in reverse, maybe. I think that makes sense, is that the heroes that go off that we see in war are those average people, so there's technically potential heroes at home. Not saying like there's heroes at home. I mean, you could also make that argument. We have people who service the community and stuff that people deem as heroic. Yeah.
I just feel like that's the way kind of modern cinema has started to change the narrative about these. Oh, right.
Sorry, because you brought up the John Wayne thing. It's not just like, come on, folks. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, there's still a time and a place. Like, you know, there's Rambo movies that I love. There's, you know, there's action movies where there's, you know, a platoon of soldiers going in to go retrieve something, and it's awesome.
Fight an alien. Fight like an alien or something.
But, I mean, I think for these dramatic war-type movies, you know, they're straying away from it just being like a one-man hero kind of thing. And I just love Tom Hanks. Really great cast.
I do love Tom Hanks.
Really great cast.
I personally don't find anything wrong with the man.
So, what didn't you like about it?
I think the feeling that it's supposed to be like a noble cause, but then the story or characters at least address that, so it kind of presents both sides of an argument without taking a stance. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like maybe that's the kind of same thing with what you're saying about heroes. Maybe there's some gray area there of, it just makes you question. Yeah. Are they heroes, or are they just the average person? Because people just get taken out like that, and that's it for them. Now the others now have a chance to be heroic. They're fighting for their country.
So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about screenwriting because I'm currently writing. The one thing that I've taken away from one of the people I listen to, I don't know who they are, so don't quote me on it, but if you've got this crazy, insane thing that you want to do, that you want to have legitimacy behind, the secret to doing it, and this is confirmed by F9, Fast and Furious movie, because they did this. You just have one of the characters explain how absurd this situation is, and then that kind of gives you a symbiosis with the characters, like, oh yeah, they think this is crazy too. Okay, well, if they're there, you know, you kind of establish this connection with the characters that, you know, this is crazy, right? And you're like, yeah, this is crazy. And then, you know, you're kind of more involved in it than... You can at least suspend disbelief long enough to kind of go along with it. And I think that's kind of what they're...
Because you're on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay,
so
yeah.
I think that's what that scene of them...
It wasn't just me. The character in the story that was written in there, he said the same thing. So it's got to be fine for a little bit longer. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what that scene does in a subtle way. It just kind of makes you question it, but also puts you in their shoes of, well, this is happening. So where F9 was about shooting a car into space or some shit, I don't know. It was a terrible movie.
I have never seen one of those movies.
All right, well, we're going to go on a little tangent right here.
I've probably
Get
watched
ready,
like 5 minutes.
Because in the middle of this heartfelt podcast involving war movies, I'm going to talk about the Fast and the Furious franchise real quick.
So, final thoughts on Saving Private Ryan?
So, big fan of Fast and Furious, first one. And then it all went to shit. Don't know why they're robbing, why they're like super spies that use cars as weapons. I don't get it. I mean,
it's eventually got to morph into Transformers. I'm telling you, like if there's stuff with space, if there actually is stuff with space in one of them, I mean, come on.
Like nobody needed 10 of those.
Yeah,
they will be making
gonna get
10.
20.
I know they will.
You're gonna get 20 of them probably.
They're not gonna hit 20. They're cutting it off at 10. And I swear to God,
you know who else said they were done with something?
Yeah,
I think it was Tom Brady. Yeah, I just heard about that. So I mean, anything's possible, bro.
No,
come on.
They're ending.
I didn't used to believe that was 100% true,
10.
but there's been lots of things going on. I'm
going
to talk over you. I love you, but I'm going to talk over you.
I've put this out on Twitter. I've put it out on Facebook, and I'm going to put it out on this podcast. If they do not use Fast 10 your seatbelts for the marketing of this movie, then why did you get to 10?
That was the goal after the first one, was like, you know what? If we're going to make more of these, we got to hit 10.
Yeah.
Because you had like the pun king, like in the background or in the writer's room going, no, guys, this is happening.
Got them written.
It's going to happen. Now. Yeah. Yeah, we're struggling around 7 and 8. Yeah, let's put some stuff into space, okay? We might need aliens in 10, but we're going to hit 10, okay, guys?
So anyways, Saving Private Ryan, really good. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's worth at least one watch. I can understand it not being something that people want to watch over and over and over and over again. Really good. Holds up. Spielberg, I don't know.
Good job.
I don't know.
He did get Best Director for it. I got the awards up that it won.
I'm sure he did.
It won 5 Academy Awards. Tom Hanks didn't get anything. And it's one of the biggest snubs of, for Best Picture that Shakespeare in Love got it over it.
Yeah.
In the history of Oscars, I guess that's what Wikipedia is telling me. I'm gonna believe that to be true.
No, yeah, that's accurate.
Been a few of
I mean,
those.
I've seen Shakespeare in Love, and it's good.
Yeah,
but it's not Saving Private Ryan good. It's also very interesting that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are in either of those movies, and Affleck won, and then has since gone on to win more Academy Awards, while Matt Damon has not.
Poor Matt Damon.
Poor Matt Damon.
That'll
I'm sure
forever
he's
live
really
in
crying
infamy.
himself to sleep on those buckets full of money.
Yeah, buckets full of money. He's like, I need this award one day. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was really good.
Yeah, really good.
Be sure to like, follow, and leave a review.
And yeah, leave a review. Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram @StoryShackPod.
We'll see you next week.
We'll
folks.
see you next week.